Hello, Phil.
Hey, Joshua.
Well, it's that time again for the top 5 hockey card sales from last week. Should we get right into it?
Yep, Tuesdays are my favorite day. Let's go.
Wow. Well, thanks.
Nah, I'm
Kicking
exaggerating,
on,
but
okay.
sorry.
Kicking off our top 5 this week is this 1980 O-Pee-Chee Mark Messier rookie PSA 10 that sold for 14,400 US dollars in the Fanatics Premier Auction on September 26th. It's the 10th highest public sale to date for any Messier O-Pee-Chee rookie PSA 10. Now, Phil, the all-time high is $25,506 from February of 2021. And even though this sale is $11,000 less than that, it is the highest amount this card has sold for in 3.5 years. So a little bit of a bounce back from a value perspective. The pop count for PSA 10 is 46, and that's out of 4,953 copies graded, which gives it a gem rate of 0.93%, which is very small.
Teeny tiny, eh?
Teeny tiny.
Can we talk about
this
how
card?
awesome? Can we talk about how awesome the rough cut on both sides of this card is? Look at the centering.
Amazing.
So nice, and it's not that yucky tops where you got to scratch it off. Little bingo ticket. I love this card. I think a good premium for this card is that the guy from the Geico commercials. This is also his first card, so it's fantastic. I mean, looks like a Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Yeah, great card. Big
Reason
fan.
why they call him Moose. My only complaint about this card, especially in the PSA graded copies, is that they put the error on there, which is on every copy. It was never corrected, and so I think it kind of distracts, or it might make somebody that isn't aware that. And again, it gives them the wrong hand shot. So big deal, right? In the grand scheme of things, it just might give people the wrong impression that this isn't the real, legitimate Messier rookie card.
Yeah, so anyone new to the hobby with big bucks, they go buy this card, PSA 10. Well, they're probably not, but they might think they have something special, and they'll always have someone else tell them, "Oh no, actually, it's every card."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to number 4. Is a 2015-16 The Cup Connor McDavid limited logos rookie patch auto out of 50. It's a PSA 9 with an auto 10 grade that sold for 20,100 US dollars on September 22nd via eBay auction. The sales on this card, Phil, are all over the place depending on the quality of the patch. So we had one in March that was 3-color, part of the oil drop, the orange from the oil drop. Sold for 105,000 US. So this is more than 80,000 less than that. But that being said, that card is pretty unique. The majority of the 50 limited logos from McDavid's rookie year are 2-color. And yeah, so the highest selling 2-color one is 31,200, and that was for a BGS 9.510 in October 2023. And so you're kind of in the $20,000 to $30,000 range when it comes to the 2-color options. But for a 2-color patch, I think this is a pretty nice card in auto.
Quick question. I think I know the answer already, but maybe for the good listener, it'd be nice for them to know if they don't. The PSA, when you just get the autograph graded, does it come with an automatic PSA DNA certification?
Yeah. So any autograph that is graded is certified by PSA as authentic, and then so a lot of times, like a card like this, they wouldn't even get the card graded. But I think in this case, a grade 9 on a super thick card is an excellent grade, and so that's probably why they wanted the number grade, and then they'll, but the more so you'll see like a PSA authentic with the auto grade 10 in a lot of cases.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing a lot of different labels, right? And I really like when I'm seeing PSA slabs and there's no grade on anything. They're just authenticated it. I'm a big fan of that. And I was wondering if that happened if you'd want the auto grade as well, if that insurance policy comes with it. Great card. Look at that autograph. Someone handed him a brand new pen, heavy on the ink. That's in there, yeah.
Got the little devil's tail on there, which I love about the McDavid autograph. And then the other thing, too, for anyone that's not familiar, to point out what I think makes limited logos very special, and in my opinion, the best RPA. Better than a Shield 101. Better than the Cup True RPA. This is the only typically RPA that has game used material. So if you look on the back of this card, it'll say that the material was officially certified as being used in an NHL game. So
I don't
in my
understand.
book, that makes these the best ones.
Yeah, but why wouldn't they use the jerseys for the RPAs? They obviously, yeah, I don't like. Why wouldn't the limited logos be not game worn and make their RPAs game worn? You have the access and the same time frame.
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, and they did it for Bedard this year, so they can do it.
We'll have to ask Billy.
Yeah, what that's Billy. Okay, coming in at number 3 this week is, well, one of those Cup RPAs. Now, here's an oddity. I think they were game used in 2005-06, but may not have been since then, or for a couple years they were the first 2 years of the Cup, maybe. But yeah, so that's part of the reason why these ones are so special. And it's a 2015 or 2005-06 the Cup rookie patch auto out of 99 BGS 910. So for $35,400 US in the Fanatics Premier Auction on September 26th. It, of course, is a napkin patch, the solid black one. And, well, I guess you can be comfortable that there's no patch swap on this one.
Yeah. Or unless that's what they want you to think.
Yeah. And just like with the McDavid limited logos, a lot of the value on these cards is dependent on the hobby's perceived quality of the patch. And I'm sure that these plain ones, well, you can look at the sales, right? They do affect the price. Does that bother you? Is this like a card that you wouldn't buy because of the one color patch? Or can you accept maybe a big discount over a 3-color patch just to have an OV Cup RPA?
Nobody's buying this card for aesthetics. They're buying it to have such a big card. They're not buying it for the patch. They're not buying it for the auto. I think that's one of more of his weaker, sloppy OV auto. I don't know. They're all kind of tight and awkward looking. You don't see any Washington logos.
Nope.
Ovechkin's got a very deer in the headlights kind of look. I'm not the biggest fan of the 05-06 Cup patch. I know.
Very controversial.
I know. I have some tributes from Brady, and they're my least favorite cards. You know, I think I'm just not the biggest fan of the. I am a fan of the 05-06 the Cup, just not the RPAs. I find them a little unexciting. Is that a word? Unexciting.
Yeah. You're allowed. We're all allowed to have our own opinions in the hobby. So it's been a big year for Ovi with breaking the goals record, and this is the 13th sale in 2025 already of a True Cup RPA, and it's the second time this exact copy has sold in 2025. So it sold for about $900 less back in February. So $34,500 US is what it sold for, or $34,500. Yeah. So yeah, a little bit of a bump since then, and these cards continue to be on the move.
There's just no connection to him. Like, yeah, I know that's his face and his name's on the card, but it's very bland. It has relevancy in history. You know, like it's a special card. Don't get me wrong. It's a very special card. Doesn't make my eyes happy though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe number 2 will. Coming in at number 2 this week is a big card. Yeah. 1951 Parkhurst Gordie Howe rookie. It's a PSA 8 that sold for $50,400 US. Again, in the Fanatics premiere on September 26th. It's the 5th sale of a Howe PSA 8 to fetch over $50,000 to date. The all-time high for PSA 8 is $57,340. It was a different copy, not the same card, that sold in February of this year. That being said, this is not the highest sale for this exact copy. In May 2021, this card with the same serial number sold for $56,600 US via Fanatics. Now, Phil, the PSA 8 pop count is 34, and there's 3 cards that have been graded higher by PSA. There's 2 PSA 8.5s and a lone PSA 9. This is a tough card for me because I'm not, I guess in some ways similar to a Gretzky rookie. For me to buy a card like this, I would definitely consult an expert, because beyond the traditional corners, edges, surface, and centering, there you have to look at registration, the depth of color on the card, and then a lot of times like the quality of the printed letters can make a big difference in value. And I would want to show, if I was if I was maybe willing to spend $50,000 on this copy, to someone that had looked at hundreds of these cards and was, kind of had like the same like Jeremy Lee type expertise as he does on a Gretzky rookie, as on the Gordie Howe rookie.
Has the reps of dealing with this card a lot. Yeah, it's a beautiful card. I know you love the 51 Parkies. It's a very significant card, historic card. It's big bucks, man. Big bucks. So this is the old PSA label. If I bought this card and I didn't want it regraded, but I wanted it re-slabbed, would PSA do that for me for a fee?
We should ask Brad Hartland when he comes on our show, because that's a
I've
great
always
question.
wondered that. Yeah, because that's the first thing I would do if I was the owner of this card. I would get it re-slabbed into a new holder. Because I see a PSA 8 on a 20-year-old slab. Could have been during a looser time, even though that card's pretty awesome. I mean, could be very well an 8 without the centering, you know.
And again, going back to the expert, like if you look at like his left shoulder there, it'd be on the right side. There's always a halo. There's a little bit of a registration issue on top of it. And this is one of those things where I don't know how pronounced that is in the best copies versus the worst copies registration wise. Those are just like the details that you have to really understand about these cards when you get into the, 5 stacks of high society, right?
Yeah, and you should want to. It's fun learning about this stuff, like peeling back layer after layer after layer. It's fun.
Well, the top selling hockey card this week is really fascinating, and cannot wait to talk to you about it. It's a 1979 Topps Gretzky rookie, but graded SGC 9.5 that sold for $60,000 US in the Fanatics Premier auction on September 26th. This is the closest grade you can get to that gem mint perfect grade on a card.
Perfect card, man.
And when you consider the context that at $60,000, it seems like a hell of a deal compared to the last PSA 10 tops that sold for $1.2 million. So this is a $1.14 million discount, if that's the way you want to look at it. And so here's what I did. Now, it's hard to do an on-screen analysis, but anyone can do this probably a little bit better by going individually finding these cards. But there you go, 1.2 million versus 60,000. I mean,
it's so ridiculous. It's outrageous. This is outrageous. Yeah.
I think this is a heck of a buy, a smart buy.
Dude, are you crazy? I'd pay 150 for that card. If I had the money and it was like catered to my lifestyle, I would pay 150 grand for that in a heartbeat. I love that Topps card. Look, it's perfect. It's bright. The ink is better than O-Pee-Chee. Yeah, I said it. It is. Yeah. It's a better card, better ink, better produced. O-Pee-Chee has beautiful romance to it. It has ridiculous charm. Yeah. You know, it's so special. Would I pick an O-Pee-Chee over a Topps if I could get each copy of the way I want? Absolutely, I would.
Well, but even these two tops, right? Is that if you let's say you cracked these cards, and I did it in a secret room and came out, and you're sitting at a table, and I put both of these raw copies in front of you. How confident are you that you'd be able to tell the $1.2 million card versus the $60,000 card?
Well, I've already caught a couple differences, but overall, maybe a civilian wouldn't. Yeah, like any regular hockey collector, I think if you gave them 10 minutes to analyze both cards and presented them with a scenario app, they could tell the difference. I do think they could. But if you brought these two cards to me and hide where PSA, SGC, which one's the 9, which one's the 10, which one's the 9.5, no, I don't think anybody would be able to tell. No. Yeah.
Well, then even from an investment standpoint, like I was thinking, which one has more opportunity to increase in value?
Yeah.
I could more, a 50% gain is to 90 grand on the SGC versus 1.8 million on the Topps or on the PSA 10.
Was that auction?
Yeah, Fanatics Premier.
Man, that to me is one of the best deals of the year. That card is, man, I wish I had stupid bankroll money because I would do so many fun things and document it. I would send that to PSA and they would probably give it a 9. PSA. I don't think PSA is in the business of giving 10s out on any big cards anytime soon, unless they decide to. Unless they're like, you know what, this is the one we're good. There's a plan. I think there is going to be a Gretzky 10 in the next 5 years, but they have a plan for it. So maybe this would be the one that would check that box, right? But if they're not ready to execute that plan, it's not about the card. I firmly believe it's not about the card. It's about their plan to maximize value.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't mean to be negative. It's just what I think. Yeah.
Well, for a pretty vanilla card that we tend to see all the time, this is a pretty interesting sale. And
Beautiful.
I think a very good buy at 60,000. Well, that's our top 5 sales for the week. We'll be back next week after we return from Saskatoon.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Hey, what are we doing Thursday? We're not doing the Slab Sharks thing on Thursday because no. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Yeah. Well, I was wrong.